folks, and thanks for joining me. Well, we're going to continue some videos as requested off the last topic of the last video, but to do so, because it's hard to convey an experience to people who haven't had that experience, some basic groundwork would need to be covered here first. And by the time we get through this groundwork, you'll realize that all is energy, and that the manipulation of that energy is what they are after, that the secret is from within. It's on the micro scale, thus the projects with CERN, the boson particle that they call the God particle. This is what they're searching for, and it's not, all the conspiracy and all the theories out there opening portals and opening the abyss, and you've heard them all, and none of them, even the ones that try to go biblical on you and stuff, are not following even biblical prophecy or ideas in their presentation of the people who are presenting them. The correct ideas, and we'll get to all that as we go along, but basically you're looking at the remaking of the Tower of Babel, the Tower of Babylon, reaching for God, the tower that was reached to the heavens. The manipulation that they wish to have is that God particle, that inside key to actually manipulating the energy that creates the physical plane. And just like Jesus said, Jesus told you that the kingdom is within, and they have discovered that everything is within. That's why you don't see them actually, other than show through NASA's public relations. Since they supposedly went to the moon, they haven't been concerned about outer space as much as you would think they would be, because the answers don't lie out there. They spend more money on things like the CERN and all this, as the researchers well know. So we'll go through some basics. I'll have some articles. Going to be limited on video lengths, I think, still on this channel. We'll see, because this one's bound to run over, and if they let me post it, then I'll post it, and we'll continue on as course. If not, then I'll have to cut them down to fit time limits to be able to be posted. We'll go over the ideas of energy, how everything is energy, and how you live in a holographic universe. Throughout this series of videos, I hope to break the spell of the flat earth, round earth conflict that seems to be taking place ever since the spell was cast. You can rise above both of those ideologies and realize what the real world around you really is, which most of you, I think, many of you anyway, that would be watching this video anyway, have this knowledge already given to you. You know this knowledge, but you have to be reminded of it, because you slip back into the ideas that they present to you as the reality, and that includes their ideas of physics. Every bit of their science is incorrect. It's, well, to be quite frank, it's Lucifer science. It's not the Lord God, Father, Creator science. And there's a difference. So we'll go through this, and let's start out with these couple articles that explain the nature of energy and quantum theory, just for those who aren't already aware of it. And that way you'll have a scientific basis that you can start building your ideas of what I'm going to talk about next upon, instead of just, taking my word for it, so to speak. Most of my realization of how the world works, how energy works, and how um, the universe is constructed in a holographic manner, being all energy. Uh, I knew through my sensitivities as growing up and stuff long before I knew anything about quantum physics or any knowledge whatsoever. Um, but I know for the basis, even though a lot of you have requested that I share those experiences are not going to be good enough to explain and give you an idea and a basic foundation to build upon to really grasp hold of this concept. Because in this concept, you'll leave materialism behind. So, what is quantum theory? Quantum theory is the theoretical basis of modern physics that explains the nature and behavior of matter and energy on the atomic and subatomic level. The nature and behavior of matter of energy at that level is sometimes referred to as quantum physics and quantum mechanics. In 1900, physicist Max Planck presented his quantum theory to the German Physical Society. Planck had sought to discover the reason that radiation from a glowing body changes in colors from red to orange and finally to blue as its temperature rises. He found that by making the assumption that energy existed in individual units in the same way that matter does, rather than just as a constant electromagnetic wave, as had been formerly assumed, and was therefore quantifiable, he could find the answer to his question. The existence of these units became the first assumption of quantum theory. Planck wrote a mathematical equation involving a figure to represent these individual units of energy, which he called quanta. The equation explained the phenomenon very well. Planck found that at certain discrete temperatures levels, exact multiples of a basic minimum value, energy from a glowing body will occupy different areas of the color spectrum. Planck assumed there was a theory yet to emerge from the discovery of quanta, but in fact their very existence implied a completely new and fundamental understanding of the laws of nature. Planck won the Nobel Prize in Physics for his theory in 1918, but developments by various scientists over a 30-year period all contributed to the modern understanding of quantum theory. The development of quantum theory in 1900, Planck made the assumption that energy was made of individual units or quanta. Then, in 1905, Albert Einstein theorized that not just the energy, but the radiation itself was quantized in the same manner. In 1924, Louis de Broglie proposed, I probably pronounced that wrong, but hey, it sounded good anyway, right? Proposed that there was no fundamental difference in the makeup and behavior of energy and matter. On the atomic and subatomic level, either may behave as if made of either particle or wave. This theory became known as the principle of wave-particle duality. Elementary particles of both energy and matter behave depending upon the conditions like either particle or waves. In 1927, Werner Heisenberg proposed that precise simultaneous measurements of two complementary values, such as the position and momentum of a subatomic particle, is impossible. Contrary to the principles of classical physics, their simultaneous measurement is inescapably flawed, and more precisely, one value is measured, the more flawed will be the measurement of the other value. This theory became known as the uncertainty principle, and which prompted Albert Einstein's famous comment, "God does not play dice." So, the Copenhagen interpretation and the many worlds theory. Now, the two major interpretations of quantum theory's implications for the nature of reality are the Copenhagen interpretation and the many worlds theory. Niels Bohr proposed in the Copenhagen interpretation of quantum theory, which asserts that a particle is whatever it is measured to be, for example, a wave or particle, but that it cannot be assumed to have specific properties or even exist until it is measured. In short, Bohr was saying that objective reality does not exist. This translates to a principle called superposition, that claims that while we do not know what the state of any object is, it is actually in all possible states simultaneously as long as we don't look to check. Okay? Get that? These are very important sentences here. To illustrate this theory, we can use the famous and somewhat cruel analogy of Schrodinger's cat. First, we have a living cat and place it in a thick lead box. At this stage, there is no question that the cat is alive. When we throw in a vial of cyanide and seal the box, we do not know if the cat is alive or if the cyanide capsule has broken and the cat has died. Since we do not know, the cat is both dead and alive according to quantum law, in a superposition of states. It is only when we break open the box and see what condition, in other words, observe what condition the cat is in, that the superposition is lost and the cat must either then be alive or dead upon observation. The second interpretation of quantum theory is the many worlds or multiverse theory. It holds that as soon as a potential exists for any object to be in any state, the universe of that object transmutes into a series of parallel universes equal to the number of possible states in which that object can exist, and with each universe containing a unique single possible state of that object. Furthermore, there is a mechanism for the interaction between these universes that somehow permits all states to be accessible in some way and for all possible states to be affected in some manner. Stephen Hawking and the late Richard Feynman are among the scientists who have expressed a preference for the many worlds theory. And I'll go ahead and tell you now, they're actually both true, because they don't contradict each other. They go in hand with each other in a sense. But though the thing is, and we'll explain this in detail later a little bit better, but the parallel universes are just, they're not manifest until you observe them. So they're not really there. They're just what would be known as a possibility. And then some of those possibilities could, of course, have odds that would make them probabilities. Nevertheless, quantum theory's influence. Although scientists throughout the past century have balked at the implications of quantum theory, Planck and Einstein among them, the theory's principles have repeatedly been supported by experimentation, even when scientists were trying to disprove them. Quantum theory and Einstein's theory of relativity form the basis for modern physics. The principles of quantum physics are being applied in an increasing number of areas, including quantum optics, quantum chemistry, quantum computing, and quantum cryptography. Quantum computing especially. See Brian Greene's Introduction to Quantum Theory on Nova. Here's a full documentary. I will leave a link to this article and in the box as usual. So then let's go over here to this blog here, or this place I found that gave me what I needed. Delusional Insects, the Devil's Diagnosis. Why you know nothing.